Today, we're going to be talking about this pretty iconic set coming all the way from Cuba, the 1945-46 Caramelo Deportivos. Turn over the back, you guys can see the advertisement over here as well. What's kind of interesting is the company that made them, they actually had their address and phone number specifically on the cards. They have the bio about the player. Check those out. Now, these cards are extremely thin, like super damage prone. You guys can see all the creases on this one. And another thing that makes these tough is they were encouraged to be pasted in an album. In fact, there is a redemption card, which is the most expensive card on this list, by the way. That you would have 99 of the cards, and then you got number 100. But we're going to save that for the very end. Before we get into the top 5, let's go over 3 honorable mentions. I felt like they needed to be said. Originally, I was thinking about doing a top 10 for this video, but 5 was a great number. The first honorable mention is Luis Tiant Sr. A lot of people know his son, the famous pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, who had a very long career and eventually might make it into Cooperstown. However, Sr. was featured in the set, was also a pitcher, and I believe he had a really good screwball. Up next, we have Alejandro Crespo. Almost made it to the major leagues. He played in both the Negro Leagues, some of the different Latin leagues, and also played in the minor leagues, playing for the Charlotte Hornets, but just never made it to the major league level. Still a really popular card. And then we have Manuel Garcia. He has a really famous nickname, which some of you guys might know. Really great pitcher, but not a Hall of Famer, and there is a lot of collectors for his cards. With that being said, let's go into the top 5. Number 5, we have Ray Brown. Ray Brown was one of the best pitchers in the Negro League. He's enshrined in the MLB Hall of Fame. And one other thing that was kind of interesting about him is he was a decent pinch hitter. So he occasionally got at-bats, but wasn't a full-time position player. And number 4, we do have a full-time position player, one of the best third basemen in the Negro League. That's this guy right here, Ray Dandridge. I kind of compare him to like a modern-day Nolan Arenado. Really good defensively, but also offensively as well. Kind of like one of those dual threats, which brings me to number 3, which is Martin Dihigo. If you're not familiar with Martin Dihigo, he was kind of like a Shohei Ohtani for the Negro Leagues. He could both pitch and also hit, which is really incredible, and put up really great stats. Many people consider him one of the greatest Negro League players. And unlike Dandridge and also Brown, which these are the first cards of them produced, Dihigo has cards earlier in the 1920s and 30s. So this is a later card, but it's still extremely valuable, expensive, and many people want to have one of those in their collection, myself included. Real quick, you guys should check out the article that we ended up writing on this set as well. The link is going to be down below in the description, or you can go to breakoutsportscards.com. And there's a lot more information here presented than I could cover in this video. So make sure to check it out to learn more about the set. Number 2 is going to be Minnie Minoso. This was the first card of his ever produced. A lot of people like to say the 1952 cards are his quote-unquote rookie card. I don't know. It's kind of debatable in a sense. He had quite a few different 1952 cards ranging from Topps to Bowman, Burke Ross, Star Decals, Victoria, and I know I'm probably, and Redmans. So a lot of cards produced in 52, but 1945-46, this was his first ever representation on cardboard. That being said, they are expensive. Now, normally most Hall of Famers and like this shape go anywhere from like 800 to like 1100 or 1200. Minoso cards right now are about 1500, and that's because of the popularity of Minoso. He had a 5-decade career, which is absolutely insane. And to my knowledge, he was the oldest player ever to have a hit in a baseball game. If you read up on the history of Minoso, it's absolutely incredible. And coming in number 1, we have Napoleon Reyes, which a name most people don't know, but this card is extremely tough to find. It was short printed. Only way you could get this card is if you would have 99 of the 100 different cards in your album. Then you were able to get card number 73, which was the Napoleon Reyes. Those cards also have a stamp on them. You guys can see it on the screen. Now, when the stamp's translated, it says for collecting only. Value-wise of this card, it's well over $1,000. I don't know for sure. Obviously, it depends on the condition side of things. I've seen some really poor examples raw that have sold for over $1,000, but a nice example hasn't really hit the market in a while. I would think it's about the Minoso price, maybe slightly higher, but you know how the card market changes all the time. Unless there's one that recently sells, it's hard to determine in this environment. Hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to watch this video right now, which I go over the top 10 most valuable Minnie Minoso cards.